welcome to the Sony portion of our coverage on the E3 conference. After Microsoft's valiant triumph, of course, in my opinion, Sony seemed to have a strong showing of their own. Find out what we had to say about it on the second part of this episode of 10 Cent FM Redux. But first, let's check out some of the viral reactions that took this year's E3 by storm.
Many years ago, Square Enix released a groundbreaking title that went on to become one of the most beloved games
You
in
bastard.
PlayStation and
Adam,
video game
don't be cool, dude.
Don't do it, you
Tonight,
piece of
I am
crap.
proud to announce that by popular demand, we have
No.
a very special treat for
No.
everyone.
No. Everyone settle down. It's not possible.
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky.
Holy F. Is
The
this
memory
real?
of the star that threatened all
They did both?
eternal in our hearts.
What? Oh my god.
Oh my god. What
It's
the?
freaking it?
This is real. Is it what?
It's it.
You maniacs!
No.
Insane.
What are you doing? Midgar looks exactly like that. What are you doing?
If this isn't it.
What are you doing?
This is it.
E3, what are you doing?
Why? Nomura. Oh god. Oh god.
But after the long calm, there are now the beginnings of a stir.
How is this possible?
The
This is
reunion
crazy.
at
How is
hand
this
may bring
possible?
joy,
No, this ain't
may
right.
bring fear.
I'm still
But
not
let us
believing it. This
embrace
isn't real.
whatever
This ain't right.
brings.
How did they keep this secret?
For they are
Oh
coming
Jesus
back.
Christ.
Barrett.
Oh my god.
No.
I
This
can't
ain't right.
handle this. I can't handle this.
This ain't real.
It's a movie.
This ain't real.
No,
This ain't real.
It's
no.
gotta be like a movie or something.
No, that's real. Don't.
This is the greatest conference.
Did I say first or only?
Since this is a game that PlayStation fans have been
Oh
very,
yeah,
very
sick.
very
What's
what's
that?
that?
What's
What's
that?
that?
about.
Dude, this is a crazy conference.
Look, he almost threw up.
Oh my god!
Real.
That's
Three,
no,
it
said three.
That's confirmed number 3.
This is the game right there.
Experience you have dreams of.
Dude, every dream has
The
come
fatal
true.
journey is in
Every
your
dream.
hands
In your hands now! How much? Get all of it! Take all my.
Oh my god. Every. How much?
How much? Please join me in welcoming you.
Ben is gonna die. Oh my god.
Take everything. He's supposed to cry. Take everything I have. He's crying. There's tears in his eyes.
And now we are going to dive into the Sony conference, and we are going to cover the great impressions we may have gotten from it and the not so great impressions. And then on top of that, we may even mention a game or two that really sold us and maybe describe it in a couple of words. So, Greg, I'd like for you to kick off with Sony and let me know what you thought were some of the great impressions you saw from it.
The great impressions were just some of the big name drops they had. I mean, Last Guardian coming out of the freaking shadows to apparently still be a title we'll see at some point. The Shenmue announcement was pretty cool. Final Fantasy, don't give two shits. obviously I loved their final showcase, but it wasn't my favorite conference. I thought they did a much better job last year. This year, I felt like they were just basically riding on, past glory.
I see Mike shaking his head, so
I couldn't disagree with that more. I actually think that was one of the more exciting press conferences I've watched at an E3. Just the games that were dropped. I mean, the Final Fantasy VII for me, like, I actually got goosebumps when that came on, and I finally realized like what it was. I mean, I don't think I've ever experienced that at a conference before.
The way I reacted, like when that dropped, well, I was just. You might have even seen some of the reactions on the internet. Like, it was just grown men, like, flipping up and down, like, really losing it. Like, it's because we are the first generation, at least amongst us, the first generation to grow up with video games all our lives. So, like, to see something like this, I mean, yeah, it was kind of hitting a nostalgic point, but I mean, whether it be like a remake or a sequel or a game that has been promised to us, dumped, and then brought back again, like, that is huge. Like, that was such, like, that goes down in, like, gaming history. Like, for something like this to go down like that, I just think it was really big,
Yeah,
like,
people have been asking for it for what, since like PS2?
Yeah, actually, good point. Exactly. Yeah, people have been asking this for like over 2 generations of video games. That's like 10 plus years. And for it to be finally delivered on, despite maybe, I think, is it both of them? Is it 2 of them, 2 of the 3, or only one of them is actually going to be multi-platform?
I think the Final Fantasy VII had the play it first on PlayStation 4. It wasn't going to be totally exclusive.
Yeah, I think that world of Final Fantasy is PlayStation exclusive, I think.
Yeah, and Shenmue should be, I believe it's multi-platform, right? Or
See, I think Shenmue's an exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's PS4 and PC only.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, it's a PS4 and PC only, and obviously The Last Guardian is exclusive. So yeah, they got a couple exclusives under their belt. Like, so then what about you, Dimitri? Did you feel anything from the PlayStation that we haven't discussed yet?
Yeah, actually, I think I have more negative to say than positive, but we'll save that.
No, we can go ahead and transition into that. I think we must have got everything covered by then.
As far as the positives from it, getting Kingdom Hearts 3, that was at the Square Enix thing.
Yeah, we'll be covering that later.
Yeah, so I guess the Final Fantasy VII thing was kind of cool. They didn't show any gameplay. It's probably nowhere near that stage in development. So I thought that was interesting. But as far as the other stuff, I think just like how I was calling shenanigans on Microsoft's HoloLens, I'm calling shenanigans on PlayStation's Shenmue thing. Which, before I actually get into it, let me throw a little shout out there.
Oh, you Sega faithful.
So the original cost like $47 million to make in 1999 money, but then this Kickstarter was for $2 million, which didn't really make much sense. But then I guess if you look into it, Sony was pretty much going to publish or have their hand in this game from the beginning. So I don't really know what the Kickstarter's for.
It's to make sure that people are actually going to buy the game, which is a conversation I've gotten to with several people. I've noticed this is the trend with Kickstarter, to kind of like, go away from the topic for a second. Kickstarters with games, like, is basically making the developer know that there is going to be an audience, because there are times we have finicky gaming community that will beg, please make this game, please make it, and then nobody fucking buys it when it comes out.
That's true when it comes to a company that's pretty small, like less than 50, 100 employees, or some like other developer that left their company to make, a copy of their game that they always wanted to make. But I don't really think that's true when it comes to a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Sony, who is doing basically a Kickstarter to gauge the customer. I don't know. It just seems a little fishy. I mean, I can understand it when it's like Igarashi or the Mega Man guy making Mighty No. 9. Like, you can understand that. They don't have like billions of dollars, but Sony, on the other hand, pretty much like doing a Kickstarter to gauge interest. I don't know. And plus, I think that game, like Shenmue 3, the announcement got a little bit more praise than I think was necessary, because the first one, well, obviously it was a Dreamcast exclusive that kind of undersold because PlayStation 2 came out at that point and kind of killed it. But then the second one that came out on Xbox, I don't think many people bought. So I don't understand where the excitement for this game is coming from, being that I don't think nobody even liked it that much to begin with. So
it's got a huge cult following. Like, people who are into that game seriously love it. Like, so
yeah,
I think it's kind of just one of those now, like, it's that word of mouth thing. Like, it's become collectible. It's one of those games that people look for, and they just, you know, you can only play it if you have a Dreamcast, and how many people have a Dreamcast? I mean,
yeah, no, and I'm wrong because the Kickstarter has like over 3 million, and it's going to finish, you know, who knows, maybe even at 10 billion. So
it's gonna beat.
But
Yeah, it's gonna beat the Bloodborne, which Bloodborne set the record at 5.5. Which, by the way, apparently I'm the one that's getting off topic a lot. So I threw down for the Bloodborne 5 minutes before it ended. Can you take a guess? I'll let you have 2 guesses, Dimitri, and I'll tell you higher or lower. How much did I pledge?
I'm gonna say 300.
Damn, you got me. You are a winner. Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
Yeah, I had to get that signed copy, man. Signed copy by Iga himself, and the I'm more excited for the music CD and composer signing it than anything, because that lady is a goddess amongst musicians. Like, she's really good. Even if the Castlevania game sucked, it was still a good soundtrack. Like,
it's some of the best music in any games.
Yeah.
That's a solid package you got. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting when that comes out in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years, just like Mighty Number 9 took a couple years to come out, but that's cool. But yeah, like, Kickstarter has become a trend in, like, it's just funny to see our cherished, like, franchises, the people that played a major role in it, when they break off from these major companies, want to continue it. So it's gonna be a little bit of a trend. They're definitely starting something, but
yeah, I just think it's a little suspicious. So if I could actually move on to another thing that I thought,
yes, by all means,
didn't, I guess, impress me as much as it should have. And obviously The Last Guardian being actually revealed or re-revealed was awesome. But in the back of my mind, as awesome as I thought it was, I kept thinking, like, this game doesn't look much different than it did, like, when it came out, when they had that reveal on the PS3, and this is supposed to be, like, on the PS4, and, like, it didn't, maybe, like, the section they were showing, I just wasn't as impressed with it. Even, like, a game like Shadows of the Colossus, which the beauty of that game wasn't really in the graphics. It was in, like, the little quirks of it that you were able to do, and scaling the giant, you know, things. And I don't know, it was just like running around with, like, the bird dog thing. No, I'm hyped about it. I am. It's just that I wasn't as impressed as I should have been for a game that, like, the first reveal was in 2009, and they've had all this time to, like, blow people's minds away. I think they could have, like, showed off maybe something different that would have looked better, maybe.
Oh, I agree. I'm glad that somebody else pointed that out, because I was scratching my head thinking the same thing. Like, it looked like PlayStation 3.5, like, almost. And don't get me wrong, they have time to polish the game, and I'm sure it'll look great. But
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at a game like Tomb Raider, which looks, like, gorgeous, or even Destiny, which looks awesome in a lot of spots. And I mean, obviously those are different genres, but I'm just comparing as far as graphics-wise what the PS4 and Xbox One is capable of. I just thought that it kind of looked like a PS3 game, so I don't know if you're gonna see, like, I don't know if you're gonna get that same feeling that you got when you see, like, a Colossus in Shadows of the Colossus, and knowing that, like, wow, how is this hardware running this, you know, awesome thing that's going on right now? I just didn't get that same feeling.
Well,
no.
I read one of the delays, the reason we had to wait so long was when they showed that initial trailer, they actually sped it up just to make it look like it was running properly. And the hardware, when we first saw it, just couldn't get the game up to spec. So they needed the PS4 just to get it to run the way it was supposed to.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, as far as, like, the negative things I had to say, I mean, that's about it. Everything else was like, I guess. The Uncharted 4 thing was kind of funny, that it froze and crashed.
oh man, I wanted to give so much flack because that was just bad. Like, you expected something like that from a Microsoft conference, not from, like, I don't know, Sony, but I guess anybody.
The trailer was so good they just wanted to show it to us twice.
good old Greg, like, chiming in on that. Greg, did you have any negative takeaways from the conference?
It's just the pacing of it was very odd to me. I mean, yes, they had some huge reveals, but it was, for every huge reveal, there were a lot of just kind of ho-hum moments. Oh, we'd see a quick blurb here about something. Oh, here's a little bit about this game. No release dates. A little bit of gameplay footage here and there. I fucking hated how much they wasted talking about the stupid PlayStation music and PlayStation View. I don't fucking care. Tell me about Project Morpheus. What the hell is going on with that instead? Oh, hey, guys, you're going to be able to play a little bit of multiplayer in a game that you've never fucking heard of. But here you go. That's all I'm going to say.
Sing, Greg.
It's coming out, and I know the price. Can I see a game coming out for the damn thing? I mean, come on.
Greg, you hit some pretty good points. The consistency, the pacing was totally off. Like, I was texting Mike about that while the conference was going on. It's just, I think me and Dimitri discussed this too. They probably should have left Last Guardian for last.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm no marketing expert, but I think it would have been better if you started with Uncharted 4 and ended with The Last Guardian. I think that would have had a bigger buzz.
Or ended with Final Fantasy VII. Like, either one would have.
I guess there has to be a reason why they chose that. I mean, the Uncharted 4 and The Last Guardian are PlayStation exclusive, so they could have flip-flopped those around. At least I think. But
yeah, I mean, you have the tried and true process of building up to a big reveal. And I mean, it may be a big cliche, but it's cliche because it fucking works. Start off with the slow stuff. Give me a little bit of Hitman early on. Build that crescendo just a little bit. Throw in Uncharted.
Unless they think Uncharted 4 is a bigger or more anticipated game than The Last Guardian, I guess. I don't know.
Definitely.
One thing I will say is, and this probably would lead into what my biggest complaint of the Sony press conference was Uncharted 4 was the only game they showed that had a concrete release date. They showed us all these great games that I'm pumped for, like No Man's Sky, Guardian. I think the new Gorilla game from Gorilla looks good. The dinosaur caveman-esque one. But they didn't tell me when I was going to be playing any of them. Uncharted is pretty much all they have going for them in the next upcoming season until the next E3. They're like, bear with us, we have Uncharted, but this cool stuff is coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, a lot of 2016 stuff, a lot.
Good points, guys. Good points. And let's go ahead and wrap this segment up with the one game that sold you. And I guess I'll start off, and I'll have to say, even though I gave it a lot of shit last week, Final Fantasy VII Remake, pretty graphics. That's all I gotta say.
It's the most overrated Final Fantasy game.
But I believe something to that effect may have been mentioned.
Yes, that was mentioned, but man, when it happened, I think because part of me didn't believe it was gonna happen, so I just decided to ho-hum it. But after seeing that reveal, next day I was listening to the music, I was just like, man, what? I totally contradicted myself. It's total hypocrisy. You all should burn me at the stakes.
Once you hear that Genova start playing, it's hard to resist.
Without a doubt.
And they teased us a little bit. They showed that little cutesy Final Fantasy game, and you're like, what is this now? And then they dropped the big one on us.
Oh, dude, they knew exactly what they were doing. Those bastards. All right, guys, real quick, what about you, Dimitri? What was the one game that sold you?
Nothing really. I mean, maybe The Last Guardian, if it looks something that's on par with Shadow of the Colossus or Ico, maybe. And maybe if Final Fantasy 15 doesn't come out on the PC, which I'm pretty sure it will. So, other than that, I'm not that big of an Uncharted fan, so I don't know. Not much.
That's fine. If I had to pick one for you, it probably would have been The Last Guardian, so we'll just go with that. Alright, Greg, what about you? What was the one game that captured you?
Well, I will say I still don't think Last Guardian's ever going to come out. That being said, Uncharted 4, obviously, but the game that really sold me was the new IP from Guerrilla Games, Horizon Zero Dawn. That game looked fucking incredible. I mean, the gameplay that they showed made that game look far enough along that I'm surprised they didn't mention a release date for this year.
Totes, I get it. And what about you, Mike? What captured you? What was the one game that really had you on the edge of your seat?
Well, outside of Final Fantasy VII, which had me squealing like a schoolgirl, but I still think No Man's Sky looks cool. I love what I saw like added to it. The way now it's expanded. There is some action, but you're just totally free to play. Like there's no constraints. You're just in space and you're just exploring. And the way you can have a totally different experience than someone else who plays it after putting the same amount of like countless hours into it. It just that looks really interesting to me.
I mean, if half the shit they're saying about that game is true, then it should be awesome. But it's one of those things where it sounds too good to be true, so you have to wait to see when that actually comes out.
Well, there was an old school game I used to play on the Mac way back, like in the late 90s, called Escape Velocity. That was essentially the same thing. It was this huge galaxy, and it just drops you into it. And you had like a ship, and you would trade and pirate and do whatever to upgrade, but there was no story. It was just you exploring the galaxy, and it really reminded me a lot of that game.
Yeah, as long as it's something like that and not something like EVE Online, I think that game will be good.
Exactly. No spreadsheets.
Alright guys, well that will conclude the Sony portion of this particular video. Hey guys, thanks for watching our take on the Sony conference. If you watch us live on Twitch, please be sure to give us a follow. If you watch us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment on anything else that you would like for us to cover in the great industry of video games. Take care, and may the Triforce be